Welcome and welcome back to Really Legal. I'm attorney Ethan Bearman. Today was the first time ever in United States history that a president has been charged with a crime, and it happened in Manhattan. I'll give you the good, the bad, and what's next. So Donald Trump had to enter the courtroom as a criminal defendant, the first time in American history, for shame. And there were lots of interesting pieces that happened today. But before we even get to what happened in the courtroom, I want to talk about what I saw on Twitter. And there are people who are claiming that this tweet that you're going to see right here from a Clay Travis, I don't know who that is, it says, "If you're a Trump supporter in New York City who is a part of the jury pool, do everything you can to get seated on the jury and then refuse to convict as a matter of principle, dooming the case via hung jury." It's the most patriotic thing you could possibly do. That was tweeted this morning at 8:57 a.m. and an account called The Liam Neeson. It's a parody account, by the way. It's not the actor Liam Neeson. It's a parody account. Said this is called jury tampering and it's a felony. So what's interesting about that? Let's talk about this. So jury tampering is a very serious offense. We need our jurors to not be affected by the defendant or people connected with the defendants. Most often you would think of this in gang or mob cases where they want to silence witnesses, which is separate from the jurors, and or intimidate a single juror. Because remember, in a criminal trial, it has to be unanimous. All 12 jurors have to vote to convict, and the standard is beyond a reasonable doubt for each of the elements of the crime that alleged. So if you get one juror who's like, no, this person cannot be found guilty, it's not possible, they're not guilty, it's a hung jury, and they're not guilty. That's it. So that's what that tweet purports to do is to get a juror to do this. Now, to claim that it is jury tampering, first off, in the state of New York, this is a New York State case. It's DA Alvin Bragg. This is not in the Southern District. This is not a federal case. So here, New York penal law applies. And I'm going to talk about sections 215.22, 23, etc. So in 215.22 is the law specifically here. It says a person is guilty of providing a juror with a gratuity. In other words, after the juror is done, I'm going to give them something. So that's a Class A misdemeanor. That's not what's being purported here in this tweet. So it's not providing a juror with a gratuity. How about 215.23, which is tampering with a juror in the second degree? A person is guilty of tampering with a juror in the second degree when prior to discharge of the jury, he confers or offers or agrees to confer any payment or benefit upon a juror, etc., acting on behalf of a juror, or accepts or agrees to any payment or benefit. This doesn't meet that criteria either. And by the way, in this case, tampering with a juror in the second degree is a Class B misdemeanor. So let's talk about the next one, which could be possible. Section 215.25, New York penal law, tampering with a juror in the first degree. A person is guilty of tampering with a juror in the first degree when, with intent to influence the outcome of an action or proceeding, he communicates with a juror in such action or proceeding, except as authorized by law. Tampering with a juror in the first degree is a Class A misdemeanor. So here's where I'm going to go with this for you for a moment. This is a generalized tweet that is sent out, and it's not being sent by Donald Trump. So now we have to step back again for a second. One of the reasons Judge Merchan put the gag order, the limited gag order, on defendant Donald J. Trump was to stop poisoning the well, if you will, for the jurors, for the witnesses, because we know that Trump's people are going to do things to intimidate so witnesses don't testify, so jurors don't feel safe. It's why today in court, Judge Merchan told the defense attorney, Todd Blanche, no, you will get the name of the 96 potential jurors It'll be on a single sheet of paper. You are not allowed to photograph it. You are not allowed to copy it, because the point is Trump, if they get the name of the jurors, may get somebody like this Clay Travis to go after that juror individually, dox them, go to their home, hunt them down, swat them, whatever it is to intimidate them and to affect the outcome of this. And then we're going to get tampering with a juror. But again, in this case, unlike what that tweet says, in the state of New York, these are misdemeanors. These are misdemeanors. Class A misdemeanor is still sizable enough that you can get jail time, but it's not, you're not going to the, to the big house for a long prison sentence, and you don't lose your right to vote with a Class A misdemeanor on your record. Now, however, if there are other threats involved, terroristic threats against a juror, we can get into felonies, but just simply tampering with a juror under New York state law, as I just described, not a felony. However, the concern is still there. That's why we can't let the names of these jurors, who they specifically are. That's another reason why the cameras aren't in the courtroom for this type of a proceeding, why Judge Merchan did not grant cameras and video cameras, etc., in the courtroom. These jurors have to be protected. They need to be able to deliberate honestly, objectively, to review the evidence as it's presented, only as it's presented in court, against the law, and make an objective decision without outside influence of Trump supporters threatening them, offering to pay them, whatever that might be. And they have to feel safe at home afterwards. So they don't want to be hunted down after the fact. You voted to convict him, I'm going to kill you. Or on the opposite side, you voted to get him, let him free. I mean, obviously, I would suggest that it's a much lower percentage chance that anti-Trumpers would go after a juror for not convicting him, but that could be possible as well. So today in court, we heard, so in other words, not really jury tampering yet. It doesn't seem to cross, according to New York state law, the threshold, the elements for being actual juror tampering. So while that was scary to see that tweet, I don't believe it violates the law in the state of New York based upon my reading of the law and the evidences I've seen put in front of me. But here's what happened in court today that's very interesting. The prosecution did ask Judge Merchan to find Donald J. Trump in contempt of the gag order, in violation of it, asked for 3 $1,000 fines against him, and asked the judge then to also threaten that Trump will be put in jail with the next violation of the gag order. We haven't heard back from Judge Merchan yet. And then in yesterday's video, you should go back and watch it, where I talk about how voir dire works in New York. That's exactly what happened today. And it looks like there was at least 1 or 2 jurors who will not be serving as jurors for cause, as we talked about. And they started going through the anonymous jurors, or juror number 1, 2, 3, 4, and seeing if they're able to be objective jurors and serve as jurors on this jury. Again, we haven't gotten to a point yet where they've gone through all of the jurors. So tomorrow, we're gonna find out more. So let me wrap up with this: the good, the bad, and what's next. The good today, the prosecution did seek to get sanctions against Donald J. Trump for violating the gag order. The good is the trial proceeded. The other good thing is Trump actually fell asleep. It appeared to be, at least based upon the reporting from the courtroom. He closed his eyes for an extended period of time. And so I guess he is not woke, and that is what he is continuing to argue by closing his eyes for an extended period of time in court, as I saw on Twitter. I believe it was from Katie Fang and one other reporter that was inside the courtroom. I saw both of them reporting that Trump closed his eyes. I don't know if he snored. I didn't hear that reported, but it seems possible and plausible. The bad today is we didn't see the judge immediately hold Trump accountable for what appeared to be violations of the gag order. We also, I would suggest the bad, we're not going to see the Access Hollywood tape that was denied for being entered in evidence, although they're going to read the transcript in its full. So I don't know that it's all bad. And then what's next really is tomorrow we're going to have more of the voir dire, trying to find the jury to seat, and we'll see what all happens. Please do me the favor, leave me your comments below. How do you think it went today? click that like button, smash the subscribe button right there. You got to subscribe here to the Really American Network and support the show. Also, by sharing it with your friends. It's so important. Please don't keep this to yourself if you enjoy these videos. Got to make sure to share it with others because I love talking to you and we need your support. Please, I'll talk to you tomorrow right here on Really Legal on the Really American Network. I'm attorney Ethan Bearman.